So we're 20 youth from all over the country, and we came together for this program to learn about social justice and what kinds of injustice and isms there are in the world, and how we can have a lasting effect of trying to change that.
My youth advisor for my senior youth group knows that I really love doing this stuff, and she introduced me to the idea of coming to it, and I really enjoy service work.
I really want to do it so I could kind of feel more comfortable talking about social justice.
But even at this point in life, where I think I, decided who I was and everything I wanted to do, like it already flipped my world upside down. And especially if you're doing it when you're younger, like you have a big head start on regards to any social justice you can do in your church, in your community.
I have a greater understanding of the issues at hand, and that's so valuable.
Learning all of the different isms, classism, racism, sexism, heterosexism.
We learned a lot about internalized sexism and racism, so things that you might not always realize but are still a huge part of our lives, and things that affect us every day that we don't even really notice all that much.
A little uncomfortable at times, because there were certain things that I hadn't really thought about before, and the struggles that other people have to go through that I don't have to go through.
There would be breakdowns, and we were divided into two different communities, everyone. And then sometimes when we were talking about racism, we'd break into different racial affinity groups, just to have spaces where it could be discussed from people who had the same experiences with racism. So then for sexism, we broke into a women's affinity group and spoke and did the step back activity for that.
Because it makes you look on at yourself instead of just here's a packet, here are the answers, that's it. It became, what is this for you? Have you internalized this? Do you have internalized sexism? Have you experienced this in your life? How do you feel this? And then they put you beside someone else feeling the same, thinking about themselves, and you're both put together in this community and this passion of, what is this? What am I? What are we gonna do? I think probably the most intense event we had attended is going to Trayvon Martin's vigil, and we walked into that expecting a very demure, very calm, very somber experience, and instead it was people speaking about liberation, people speaking about the future, people speaking about why this is going to affect us and why this is such a terrible thing and what we need to do to make it better. And it was very powerful, and there were lots of speakers with lots of great ideas, and everyone is just multicultural audiences. Everyone is all an ally, and everyone's working together for this one thing that hurt us all equally, no matter our race. And then with all that passion, all that energy, the people it became a march. It became a march, and we just marched through Boston. And we just kept going, and we kept doing our chants, and we're all together in this powerful group, and there's people that are just crying, there's people that are angry, and we're all together for this one purpose. And I just know that with all that energy and all that strength and power and numbers and power and passion, that kind of movement is what will fix that, what we can do. It can fix that, we can work towards trying to push our society into something better. Even though it may be too late for Trayvon and others.
Martin, we are Trayvon Martin. We are Trayvon Martin. We are Trayvon Martin. We are Trayvon Martin. We are Trayvon Martin.
And you saw those speakers coming up, and they would say things that would just break your heart, but at the same time they gave you more knowledge of what their lives were. And what happened to Trayvon Martin, in my opinion, is probably the worst that racism can do, but it happens every day.
That are connections across race, across class, across lines that often people don't cross. So I think those connections and living in this community and seeing everyone like blossom and grow from like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here on the first day to like being very confident in their knowledge about and their passion about social justice has been awesome.
My internship, which was Black and Pink, which works with prison abolition, there's like, which is seems completely separate, but it's also intertwined with those same things, and how like the police profile people and how prisons work with these different types of forms of oppression is really interesting. And I also like was able to learn about different like ways to combat against the prison system in my internship, as well as these forms of oppression in the city school. And I just feel more confident like talking about that, and I gained a lot of knowledge and experiences from both these things, and hearing people's personal stories as well through
Sharing who you are and sharing things you don't share often. And it's really quite frightening having to share, you know, personal things that happen to you, but that really just brings you together. And it taught me, you know, to keep your heart on your sleeve and to trust everyone as far as you can, as much as you can allow yourself, because when you love everyone and trust everyone, it kind of keeps you calm and it keeps you going, and it makes sure that you're always determined to do what for anyone, no matter what.
Like, we made friendships that are like insane for 3 weeks. Like, I didn't think I could be that close to people, but other than that, I love this student leadership program because, again, we were meeting new people that I normally wouldn't have met probably and wouldn't have been able to connect with, and different ideas from people that have experienced things that I've never experienced and probably never will. So sharing experiences with people like that has just been like a really intense experience that was really amazing.
And I think I made friends here that I'm going to keep in touch with a long time into the future, and we're already like making plans to see each other again and making plans for how we're going to take our social justice training out into our lives, and it's just really exciting.